What's up, Alabama fans? I know. I am not Stephen M. Smith. I am not Justin Smith. I am Patrick Dowd. And for those of you who have no clue who I am, I'm a writer for Touchdown Alabama magazine for the past 3 years. I've been making weekly appearances on Stephen's show, in my own words, every single Monday. But now, this is my own chance to run wild on here a little bit with my new show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. It's a new platform for me to give my own thoughts and perspectives on everything Alabama football. I couldn't be more excited to get things going with you guys. I've been waiting a long time for you on here to get involved on the YouTube space, so I'm really excited to get things going. But before we start the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss anything Alabama-related content. Let's try to get this video to 300 likes. If it gets to 300 likes, it would make my mother really, really happy. So if you love moms, hit the like button. If you don't, I think we know where you stand. But anyways, what we're talking about here today is the big news from a week ago where Alabama landed transfer wide receiver Tyler Harrell from Louisville. And the common comparison that I've been seeing online is that Harrell is going to be the next Jameson Williams. Now, is that legit or is that not? This is what I'm here to talk about and tell you guys. So, if you just look at Tyler Harrell's production or even just turn on his highlight tape, the guy's impressive. The first thing that pops off is obviously his speed, which is exactly what Jameson Williams added to Alabama last year when he transferred over from Ohio State. And looking at Harrell's 2021 season, or last year, I mean, the guy was just as productive or probably more productive than Jameson Williams' 2 years at Ohio State combined. So in 2021, Harrell caught 18 passes for 523 yards and 6 touchdowns. If I do a little extra math here, that's 29 yards per reception. 29. So whenever he gets the ball, it's almost going for 30 yards. And that's an area, obviously, with Williams leaving Alabama, that's exactly where the niche that Alabama's looking to fill, that kind of explosive wide receiver who's going to take the top off the defense, which is exactly what Harrell proved when he was with Louisville. So, will Tyler Harrell be the next Jameson Williams? No, because it's just such an unfair comparison to lay on somebody, especially someone who hasn't played in the SEC before and is replacing somebody like Jameson Williams. It's just not fair because, and the sole purpose is because the sole reason why is because Jameson Williams, players like Jameson Williams don't happen. They shouldn't happen. Because if you just look at Jameson Williams' career trajectory at Ohio State, he was obviously a very talented guy. He sat behind a ton of talent at Ohio State. Just look at all the former Ohio State wide receivers who were in this draft, including Williams. If I know that's a sensitive topic, he's an Alabama wide receiver, but he did start at Ohio State. But besides the point, I mean, Williams, he sat on the bench, rode the bench for 2 years. Doesn't do a whole lot, has a couple catches in the college football playoff, and then decides to hop over to Alabama after losing to them in the championship game. And then he proceeds to not only be one of the best wide receivers in college football, but he might have been the most important player on Alabama's team last year. And just look at how Alabama's offense looked when he wasn't on the field. I mean, I know Bryce Young is a fantastic quarterback, and he is. He's everything as advertised. There's a reason why he won the Heisman Trophy. He was the best player in college football a year ago. But look at the Iron Bowl. Jameson Williams gets ejected from the game for targeting in the first half. Alabama can't move the ball on offense. The national championship game, when Jameson Williams tears his ACL, unfortunately, and they lost John Mechie as well in the SEC championship against Georgia, Alabama struggles to move the ball through the air. They really can't do anything. So to ask Harrell to step in and be that sort of important piece, that missing piece, the best receiver in the country, the most important player on the team, is just not feasible. But I'll tell you what Harrell does add to this team, which is something that Nick Saban has made a point to address this offseason. Harrell adds experienced depth. And when I say that it's been a point the entire offseason, I mean, just look at what Nick Saban calls free agency acquisitions from the transfer portal. I just look at the critical losses on Alabama's roster from last season. On the offensive line, Alabama lost Evan Neal, Chris Owens, both his starting tackles. What does Nick Saban do? goes to the transfer portal, gets tackled Tyler Steen. Running back, lose Brian Robinson to the NFL draft. Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams are banged up from a season ago. What's Alabama do? Goes and gets Jahmyr Gibbs. Corner, yes, we're going through them all. Cornerback, Alabama lost both its starters. Josh Jobe and Jalen Armour-Davis head off to the NFL. What does Alabama do? Goes and gets cornerback Eli Ricks from LSU. And now at receiver, Alabama lost not just Mechie and Jameson Williams, they lost Slade Bolden too. Slade Bolden was an important player. They lost 3 key contributors at receiver from a year ago. So what does Nick Saban do? Goes and plucks Jermaine Burton and now Tyler Harrell out of the transfer portal. So it does, as if Harrell isn't going to be the top 10 NFL wide receiver, he can still play an important part. He still has a role to play. Even if he's not Jameson Williams, he's going to play that Jameson Williams type role where he extends the defense out. He makes sure the safeties stay back there, creates some more space for maybe guys like Jermaine Burton who will probably slide into that role in that kind of John Mechie spot per se. And honestly, when I think Nick Saban wanted to address at wide receiver in the transfer portal anyways, even despite it didn't have to be someone like Harrell, he wanted to add more experience because even looking back at that national championship game when Mechie and Williams were both out, Alabama struggled to move the football because it was Slade Bolden and a bunch of freshmen, unproven players. And I don't think Nick Saban wants to be in that position again. But I mean, why try and develop 5-star players when you can just go get guys who are maybe one step away from being big time players? They just need that little extra push to which they can get at Alabama. So will Tyler Harrell be Jameson Williams? I don't think so, but that doesn't mean that this won't be a big success, a big get for Alabama this season.